Okay, I think we're on number 12 here. We left off with the windshield, windscreen frame. Basically what I want to do in this video is we'll clean this up a little bit. Control Shift zoom, control down a little bit. We're gonna see if we can straighten this out a little bit on the shape. Let's come to 3. Come down a little bit. Let's go to vertice mode. Let's box this one in on the right side. And let's box this one in on the left side. And I'm talking about with military vehicles, you refer to how you're setting in them. So if I say right and you're seeing left because it's the screen, and okay, let's go S on the Y. Let's bring that in just a little bit. Let's look at that at an angle. Okay, another thing I want to do here is actually box and grab the outer two. And we're going to come up high. Okay, scale to the Y. We're going to bring that in just a tad there. About like that. Okay, we're going to unselect it. We're going to grab the two on both sides right above that. Actually, that outer, let's see, scale the Y just a hair maybe. Okay. And then we need to grab those inners. You can see they're twisted a little bit. Push our 3. Okay, let's come up high again. Let's scale the Y. Scale in just a little bit. That looks pretty good. And let's push A. Okay, let's push 7. And shift and control over. Let's take let's box this one right here and this one right here. Let's push S on the Y. Let's bring that in. Oops, actually I want to bring it back just a tad. And I have had some comments on my videos, and somebody was pointing out that I actually brought up a video about one of the first videos I watched about drawing airplanes on this. Push 1. And I was telling somebody that one of the first videos that I actually watched on making an airplane was there's a video on, if you Google or Yahoo, go into YouTube, or you actually go on YouTube and you type in like Blender ME-163 Comet. There's a British man that in about 40 minutes he draws basically a whole rocket plane, ME-163 Comet. And looks pretty good, you know. But it's real basic, which, you know, not to knock it or anything, but it's just it's more basic than what we're going to end up with this. And I know I tend to drag this stuff out just a little bit, but I'm trying to make this video for everybody. If you know what you're doing, and you know how to draw in Blender, this might be just a tad boring for you. Actually, you might be like, oh my god, you know. But if you've never drawn in Blender, or you're just a beginner, then I try to go slow enough so you can follow along. Okay, if you notice, I grabbed, or we can go to 7. I grabbed these ones that are kind of high, and they're bulged out a little bit. And what I want to do is I actually kind of want to look from behind here. We're going to go high, we're going to go scale Y. We're going to bring those in a little bit. And I think that's, we're going to box on this one, box on this one. This one's kind of hard to see. Let's go to 7, which is above. Let's bring those, let's scale to the Y, let's bring them out just a tad. And actually, probably, we should probably take these lines here. Let's box these ones again. And what I'm, whoops, Control Z, I grabbed 2, I just wanted to grab the one, box. Like I said, you might want to angle around, kind of look around, make sure you didn't grab anything underneath, which you usually don't. Okay, let's go back to 7, and let's zoom in on one side here. And let's scale the Y. Let's bring that down just a hair. About like that. Okay, A, deselect. Okay, now one of the things we can do, like I was kind of showing you in the last video here, actually I can already see, let's go back to 3, let's box on this one, let's box on this one, let's come up high, let's go scale Y, bring that in just a hair. Actually, I'm not even sure. Actually, let's see what it looks like from behind. With the way that windshield's sitting there, we kind of want that windshield flat to a point. So I'm thinking, let's bring that in about there. And it's kind of hard to see, but if you actually look at the picture, we're a little bit bigger than the picture, a little wider than the picture. So we can actually let's deselect that. Let's box this one. Let's box this one. Let's scale. Scale to the Y. Bring it in a little further than that. Select A. We're going to grab the next 2 up. And box, grab that one up. Scale to the Y. And one of the other things I am going to do on here too that I wanted you to be aware of, or anybody that's really interested in this, or if anybody's watching on the War Thunder here, one of the things I plan to do with this too is when I get this model done, I am going to import it into the War Thunder. So if you're not interested in really trying to draw an airplane, which is fine, but you want to play in this game with this in the CDK, this model will be available. Scale to the Y, and then I think I'm not going to do, of course, a tutorial on the Sayran that I drew, but I am going to have the Sayran. I am going to have the Saran in the I'm going to download it once I get it all set up, because one of the things I did on the Saran that I'm actually wanting to draw this thing in sections for the CDK. The Saran I didn't draw that way. It's pretty much a complete airplane, so I'm actually going to go into the Saran and split it up and modify it and stuff, which isn't really hard, but it's gonna take a little bit of time. Okay, now what I want to do here, we're going to come to object mode, and we're going to push T, and in tool we got shading here. I'm going to click on smooth, and then we're going to come over to our side here, and if you're not in this part here, I'll show you. You click on this this triangle, and it tells you circle. The name of this object is circle. You can rename this. I probably should, but I'm not real worried about it right now. But I actually should name this like aircraft body, or front hull, aircraft hull, stuff like that. Okay, now if you see down here under normals, you see it says auto smooth and it says double sided. So we want to click on auto smooth, and then we want to click on double sided. And if you notice, and then we'll click A, and then I want to push T. Okay, if you notice, we have a little bit of shading with these faces and stuff, but for the most part, I think if I UV wrap this, when I UV wrap this, that I can actually separate this windscreen like they do. I don't know if you've seen some of the UV files for War Thunder and what they look like, but I think usually this part of the windscreen is laid flat and it's separate. Well, I think if I UV map this and I actually I got a couple options. Like in this picture, it's green. Hit Z. And if you hit 7, they actually, in this picture, this thing's green. I've seen in some of the other pictures they've made this black with the white, with a gray airplane, and the windscreen's black, and so on and so forth. And as you can see in the picture, it's a little blurry. Sorry. It's a little blurry, but you can kind of see the rivets and stuff. Oops, I was angling it. Okay, let's push C, because I'm actually kind of pivoting around the. Center of the picture. Oh, and I didn't do this. I need to push Shift C to bring the object cursor back down in the center of the picture. Okay, but like I'm saying, I'm pretty happy with where this has gone. Now, what I was starting to tell you a little bit about the comments. The Englishman draws this comment, and one of the biggest things he does. Let's save this file right here. Save as. And we're going to change this one to a 9 for the time being. Later on, you can always delete a bunch of files. If you have a whole bunch of files, it's just partial files, and you're not going to use them. You can delete them. But like I said, I like to save a lot, and I like to save, if I do anything real major, I like to save it at that point. And then if I go into the next thing and I'm drawing something big and it just totally screws up, then I can always come back and use this part or start over if I needed to and stuff. But I'm pretty happy with how that canopy looks at the time being. And I forgot. Yeah, I was going to show you something, but I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to do what I was going to do. I'm going to practice it first and make sure that I'm doing it correctly, and then that way when I present it in probably the next video, it'll run smoother. It'll seem smoother when I do it. It won't seem so how would I put it? No, it won't seem like I'm sitting there stumbling around trying to figure out how to do it. I'll look it up and play with it, make sure I know what I'm doing, so that I can just present it like, hey, this is how you do this, and then I'm not bumbling around so much. Okay, I did save this. One of the thing, what I was going to start showing you, but I'm not going to totally do the whole thing. But if in the next video, we're going to put the glass in here. That's one of the things we're going to do. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to come to inline mode. And then we're going to do kind of like what we did last time. We're going to select the lines and hold shift. And we can select this whole set of lines here. And we can push F. And then we push A, and we actually have a face there. And one of the other things that I was kind of going to talk about, or have thought about doing, is another method is you could actually, if you knew the measurements, but the only way you could know the measurements is like if you had a model. If you could measure this, like this side window and the side of the frame here, but you would actually have to have it, show you, you would actually have to have it, let's see, rotate. Oh, let's go to edit, that's not, let's go to object mode. Rotate on the X. Oh no, what are we doing? Oh, because I don't think I have it selected. Let's select it. Okay, go back to 3. Okay. Rotate on the X. Now see, the problem with this is when I rotate this, see how it's not centered with the cursor anymore? But what I was wanting to show you, okay, rotate on the X. If you actually took the windscreen, being the windscreen, and you rotated it to where it was exactly horizontal, basically. Now what I gotta do here is be careful not to save this. Let's go to edit mode. Anyway, you could bring this horizontal. And then you could pick your surfaces here. And then you could actually make these lines like this top line exactly straight. But you would also have to come you would have to come from the side. There's Z. Then you would have to rotate on the Y, and then you would have to rotate. You'd basically have to move this window to where it's flat on all 3 axes, or you would have to draw a window that's flat on all. Basically, you could draw the window separate and draw it on your flat axes. And then you could kind of like mate it up with the airplane. Okay. So let's Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Let's go Z. 3. And we're going to leave this there, and we'll come into the next video and talk more about this. And thanks for watching.